Tiger sports team. Yeah. Hey, welcome to Tiger Sports. Yeah, we got all the sorts. Yeah, you know that we fight, ain't talking about no toys. And we talking about them hoopers that hoop in that court. And we get straight to business. I get them reps like it's tennis. Yeah, they come to the sports, we a menace. Yeah, feel like we in the pool, go swimming. Yeah. I'm on the beat, I took off. Let the game talk, don't need a look off. I run off on the interview football. Yeah, then you ain't that look off. We get green like bait, we poking that babe, no it's big South K. They talking about what's and you know they go crazy. And I'm feeling like Trey, I pull up for the tray. Yeah. Your weekend, Tristan?
My weekend was good. I went on a visit, watched football games, and then we tailgated. What about you, Nick?
Personally, I had a great weekend. You know, we was traveling all around the world, kind of.
So, question of the day: what's your favorite song of all time and why?
Probably "Immediately" by Lil Wayne. And it was because like he a big influence on me personally. I just feel like Lil Wayne really different.
I'll say Chief Keef, Finito,
That's
because it's a hype song and it gets you hyped before games and stuff.
Thanks.
Now it's time for the Tiger Town sports recap. This past Friday, Wilson football traveled to Hilton Head to take on the Seahawks, losing 43-0. Tamati Emmanuel with 28 rushing yards and MyQuan McWhite with 36 receiving yards. Defensively, Devon G had a great game, recording 11 solo tackles and 1 assist tackle.
Thursday, September 7th, the Tigers had a difficult match against North Myrtle Beach High School. The game went 3 straight sets all to North Myrtle, while Wilson had to fight hard to stay afloat the entire match. The first set went by quick, ending with the score 4-25. This set a low tone for the beginning of the game. The Tigers had some adversities to face and found ways to score some in the second and the third set with the score of 15-25 and 17-25. However, in the end, they couldn't pull out the win. Shout out to Elena Gregory, led the team with 4 kills, while Talia Emmanuel led the team with 7 digs and 2 aces. Setter Kaylee Braswell led in assists, having 8.
The boys Tiger volleyball team played North Myrtle Beach on Thursday as well at home. They lost all 3 sets, 17-25, 17-25, and 18-25.
Now, we will have our weekly segment, The Coach's Corner, with Coach Mooney. We will talk all things Tiger football.
Welcome to the show, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys. Always good to see you.
Good. Question for you: what's your favorite song of all time and why?
Oh man, I'm a huge music fan. I don't know if I have a one favorite song. Kind of depends on like the mood I'm in. You know, like kind of depends on the mood. Kind of depends on the year. I don't know if I really have a favorite song. I mean, I got like a big variety of artists I like, but I don't think I have like a particular song.
That's how it is. I really wanted to say
like
that way. Yeah, that's how it is.
Whatever you feel like listening to at the time.
Yeah, like for example, like right now, I mean, I love listening to "Love's Train" by Bruno Mars. Has kind of like an old feel to it, so I usually listen to that a little bit in the morning.
Is Bruno Mars like one of your favorite artists?
I don't want to say one of my favorite. I just like the beat of that song.
Who is some of your favorite artists?
Top 3.
Ooh,
Top 3, yeah, top 3.
Top 3, man. I'm kind of an old school guy, man. So, you know, like Marvin Gaye,
okay,
Luther Vandross. Oh man, I'm trying to think who else would be James Brown. You know, so I'm kind of an old head, man.
Okay, so you like more on the R&B type of song.
Oh yeah,
okay,
most definitely. Not hip hop wise. I mean, I grew up to, Death Row, Bad Boy. So I mean, I can sing Snoop Dogg and Biggie all day long. You know what I'm saying? But but I mean, I love a wide genre of music. So that's why I say I don't really have a favorite, but I've got some kind of go-to stuff, but not anything particular.
Oh, yeah. Do you like any female artists?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, back in the 90s growing up, man, you had oh my goodness, I'm trying to think.
You like Lauryn Hill?
Lauryn Hill
was really good with the Fugees. You had Queen Latifah back in the day.
Yeah.
there's a multitude of female artists, man, that came through in the late '80s, early '90s, who kind of set the tone for the females now. So yeah, man. I don't mind listen to some female artists every once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel about last Friday's game?
Highly disappointed, man. I felt like that the week before we had actually taken some steps forward, but then I felt like Friday night, man, when we took about 3 steps back, so definitely discouraged about our effort, but at the same time too, we still have a lot of football left to play, and Friday night, man, we had a long 3 hour long trip to Hilton Head, and we thought that we had a pretty good game plan in place, and just felt like the energy wasn't there, Friday night. So we're just discouraged by that. I mean, all 3 phases, man, like we played terrible on all 3 phases, special teams, offense, and defense, and just couldn't seem to find that spark that we needed, to kind of get ourselves going forward. So, definitely discouraged, but hey, it's on in Darlington, and we got another ballot ahead of us.
Okay. How do you feel like about what do you think the biggest mistake y'all had in the game, particularly? Like?
Just having a slow start. And we talk about that a lot, man. Is having a fast start against our opponents, because the one thing about high school football is, the majority of teams are front running teams. And what I mean by that is, if you have a fast start, everything's going really well, you end up usually playing pretty well. But then when adversity hits, then it's kind of like you're looking for something to get you back in the game. And that was something I felt like Friday night. We had an extremely slow start, and and we had some miscues that we probably gave them. I bet you 28 points easy. I mean, like literally just gave it to them. It wasn't anything they earned, and by the time halftime came, we were down by 20 plus. Ended up losing 43-0. So, but we're going to adjust some things practice wise and look at some personnel stuff that we're doing right now, and see if we can put ourselves in position to have a fast start this Friday.
Quarterback Tristan Howard went 8 for 25. Why do you think he had such a bad game?
I think he was just rushing himself. Thinking about it, man, Tristan has a very high IQ. He's a good football player, and I think he was kind of pressing there early on. So we were trying to give him some early things, some easy things to do early on, and we felt like that he was just kind of rushing it. And thinking about it, he has a lot of game to come to him. And just be patient with things that we're doing. Complete easy passes. Get the offense into a nice groove, and I think when we do that, we end up playing pretty good football. And Friday night, we didn't do a very good job of that.
Okay, how do you feel about this upcoming weekend?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm always optimistic, man. I always feel good about our guys every week. It doesn't matter who we play, because at the end of the day, I still think that we're a really good football team. Despite being 1-3 right now, we should probably be 4-0, to be honest with you. But I mean, like, I still feel pretty good about this week. Darlington is on a little bit of a roll right now, and they got kind of some new energy over their way, and so I'm pretty sure that they're going to be excited about playing Wilson, because it's kind of a rivalry, and so we got to play really good football and play mistake-free football, and I think if we play pretty solid, I think that we can take care of business pretty easily.
Okay, so back to Hilton Head. What do you think on defense that they did to make us not put any points on the board?
I'll be honest with you. They done a really good job of pursuing to the football. We didn't do a very good job of sustaining blocks, whether it was offensive line or whether it was wide receivers, and the thing about it is that their guys played really hard. I don't think that they were better athletically than us. I don't think they were better physically than us, but I felt like that they played harder than we did Friday night.
So you feel as we played less motivated than they were?
Most definitely. It was, and it was from the beginning to the end of the game, is that, we had a slow start. We ended up giving them literally two touchdowns within about 5 minutes of the first quarter. And I felt like that it kind of sapped our energy, going into the game. And I just felt like that overall that they just executed better than we did, and they played a lot harder than we did. And that's something that we can't allow to happen for the remainder of the season.
Okay, so of course the energy after a loss will be bad, but according to like some players, some coaches, it can be different.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like the energy was after that game, and how can y'all improve energy on a bigger scale per se.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that we had guys that were disappointed, because I think that we were shocked, first of all, that we lost to Hilton Head. Secondly, that we lost that bad to them. But at the same time, too, from talking to some of our players over the weekend, I think that they're encouraged to get back to work today. And, I think that our leaders are going to step up and lead the charge and make sure that we have that energy that we need to go into Friday night games. And, I think that we're going to be fine. I mean, Friday night was a minor setback, but it's not like it's the end of the season. We got a lot of football left to play. And, so I think that we're going to end up being fine.
So after the week, do you think that the team took steps back?
Yeah, I do, because I feel like the week before, we played against a team that was a whole lot better than Hilton Head, in Dillon. And, we gave ourselves a chance to win that game, and had some miscues there late that ended up costing us the game. But, you're talking about, the number one team in the state in 3A. And, just felt like that we played fairly well against them and gave ourselves a chance to win. And to go and play a team that was not even close to being as good as Dillon, and then to lose that bad, it's pretty disheartening, So we took some steps back, but at the same time, too, the one thing I tell our guys all the time is that you always have the opportunity to learn, the opportunity to learn something to improve upon. And the thing about it is the lesson that we learned Friday night is to never let that happen again. So we should be fine this week. We just got to bounce back. That's all. And got a little bit of adversity going on, but we should be fine.
Okay.
Do you think the distance of the game has something to do with the loss?
Yeah, I mean, like as a football player, and I think back to my days of playing, like anytime you have a long trip, it's always, kind of tough. Because you're sitting on the bus, you don't have a lot of room to kind of stretch out, and you're on the bus for 3.5 hours almost, between us stopping and eating and everything else or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like I think that can have an effect on you, but at the same time too, the fact of the matter that your opponents like don't care how far you travel. They just want to find out whether you come to play football or not. And Friday night we didn't play a good brand of football.
Right. Okay. So what are you doing this week to prepare for the game next weekend?
We're going to emphasize a lot more physicality in practice, and try to get ourselves in some more game-like situations. And the last 4 weeks we've had some awkward weeks of practice, to say the least. Because of getting away at ball, because of the heat. We've had a field issue. We've had some bad weather. Where we've had to cancel some practices. So we have not had a full week of practice in the last month. So hopefully this week we don't have any issues, in which I don't think we will, because the weather's is about to cool off about 10 degrees. So I think that we're going to be able to get those full practices in that we've been planning and trying to do, without having to alter practices because of missing days. But we're going to pick up some physicality in practice. Focus on a couple of areas, specifically on special teams. Continue emphasizing tackling on the offense. Trying to get ourselves in a nice flow offensively, and we'll go out Friday night and see what happens.
Do you feel as y'all getting not as enough practice, is that causing y'all to take losses?
Well, yeah, I think, because the thing about it is in practice as coaches, man, we always have like our days planned out well ahead. So there are certain things on certain days of the week that we plan on working on and getting taken care of, and a lot of that has to do with situational football, working on first down stuff, second down stuff, third down stuff. Special teams, working on how to defend a particular formation or a particular play defensively. So when you miss a day, you're talking about missing a 2-hour-long practice. Now, come the next day, you're having to try to speed rush everything into one day. So I think that can hurt in a lot of ways. But at the same time, too, I mean, a lot of other teams are dealing with the same things. But that's something that hopefully we're past that, and we can move forward and become a better football team.
Even though the practices aren't there, as a coach, what do you feel like you can improve on yourself?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, like just keeping our guys energized. I think that's the biggest thing is staying on our guys and keeping their energy up during the game. I felt like that was something that Friday night, I didn't feel like the energy was very good on the sideline. And that's something that me and my staff talked about yesterday. And, we talked about, hey, we all like have to pick it up, and make sure that our guys are following our lead and and that they're getting excited about the game. And Friday night, I didn't feel like that overall that as a staff that we did a good job of that. And and that's something that I've challenged everybody, to pick it up on that end. But on top of it too, players, we also got to have those leaders who also get our players energized also.
Okay.
What are some things that Dalton does that we need to slow down?
They do a good job. They've got about 2 or 3 players who are really athletic, and they do a good job of putting those guys in position to make plays. And we've got to make sure that we tackle those guys really well. They got a really athletic quarterback, really athletic, fast receiver, a really, really good DB. Who all 3 of those guys have done a pretty good job so far this season. And so we got to make sure that we stay away from that guy on defense and make sure that offensively that we tackle those guys. And and I think that we had the ability to do those things and do them really well. But it's going to take all 11 guys on both sides of the ball, doing their job and preparing well this week.
Okay, so after all of this talk, what is your message for your guys this week?
The thing about it is to not allow ourselves to linger on last week, but to move on and say, okay, well, like what areas do we need to improve on? What do I have to do internally, to get myself right, but not getting caught up on Friday night, because the thing about it is Friday night's over with, just like the Dillon game was over with, the Marion game was over with, the Ainer game was over with, but just moving on and visualizing ourselves doing great things, and finding the positives in what we're doing and build upon those.
Do you have any shout outs?
Shout out always to my little mini. Shout out to my players, man, despite us coming off a crazy loss, man, but those guys still, staying the course, man, and just working. To those parents, man, that came out Friday night and drove that 3 hours, to come and watch us play horribly. But shout out to them for coming and supporting us, so just the whole community, man, and what all they do and what all that they mean to this school and to our program.
Okay, thank you for joining us, Coach. We really appreciate it.
Most definitely. Thanks a lot for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Tiger Town podcast. Remember, you can find us on all podcast platforms. Until next time, I am Nick.
And I'm Tristan, and we're out.